Trade recap January 10th, National Save the Eagles Day. So let's go America. Eagles, yeah. Even though I'm shorting the market today. But anyway, let me give you a little overview of how today went. It was pretty mediocre, when in reality it should have been a lot better. The first trade that I took played out really well. Could have played out really well, I should say, because I ended up closing the position early like an idiot. I closed out for around 60 points, when in reality, I was planning on targeting 90, and 90 hit just fine. But I was really emotional during the trade. I was really worried. I was exhibiting bad trading habits overall throughout the entire day. So let's get into why that is a big no-no. To start off the day, I noticed this 15-minute imbalance here. And I took a trade off of a 1-minute confirmation, because this 15-minute imbalance gave me a short bias, and I took a trade here off of this zone here, this order block, supply zone. Where'd that come from? In my neck. And I put my stop loss above this wick here. And I believe I entered when I set my order at this price because it's such a small stop loss. And we ended up shooting down. I was originally going to target this point right here, which would have been 90 points, 95. But instead, I decided that, I'm not sure if we're going to sweep this low. I'm not sure we're going to push down further. So I ended up taking profits around here, around 61 to 2 points, which, by the way, isn't bad. I'm not necessarily mad about that win. But I ended up taking 3 more trades today, which, honestly, it's something I need to work on. I need to, on the days when I take one great position, and I'm up quite a bit, I'm up a good amount, I need to just stop trading. I don't need to target more. Even though this trade was less than desirable as far as outcomes, it could have been so much more. I really should have just stopped here up around 61 points. But instead, I took trade after trade after trade, and I dwindled my profits. So my advice to anybody watching this is, if you take a trade and you're up a decent amount, you just need the discipline to stop. It's something that I definitely need to work on. But I just kept getting setup after setup after setup, and I kept getting stopped out, and then the setup ended up working. So they weren't bad setups that I took. I just shouldn't have taken them. I got stopped out of them. It is what it is. The second setup that I took right here is off of this supply zone right here. I was betting on a rejection. And we ended up getting stopped out of this one. And then I ended up taking the third position off of this imbalance. I saw an imbalance here and thought that we could push lower, and we dipped into it here, and this is where I entered. When we dipped into it, and we ended up getting stopped out a point and then shot right back down, sadly. But I mean, you know what happens. It is what it is. At that point, I should have just been done. I should have been done after the first trade, but I ended up taking another one. And I believe I took this one off of this imbalance here. And I entered when we dipped into it, I think when we first dipped into it. Which, by the way, I also got stopped out nearly to the T before it ended up playing out again, which is, really demotivating. But at the same time, I know that these trades that I ended up taking were good setups. They just happened to not play out in the way that I thought they would. My bias was correct. We ended up dumping through on every position I took today. I just unfortunately got stopped out. But disregarding the rest of these trades, I want to talk a little bit more about this first one because I really should have been a lot more disciplined in this trade. Because I entered this trade, a beautiful trade, was working out really well. I actually think I entered here. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter where I entered, but probably entered here. But yeah, what I was thinking during this setup was we came down and we made this low and then we rejected all the way back up into this zone. I'm pretty sure I did actually enter here, but no, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm stuck on that. I wasn't sure that we were going to break through this zone, when in reality, if I just take a look at the setup, we have an imbalance here, we have a supply zone here, we have this giant imbalance here. We were very, very likely going to continue further. But I decided that, I'm just going to take profits early because I was scared because of a trade that I previously took this week that I ended up targeting too much and I ended up getting stopped out of that break even when I really should have just targeted a certain area. But that trade was a totally different scenario. That trade, I shouldn't have targeted as much. This trade, it is very probable that this 90-point mark would have been hit. And I would be up a decent amount today if that ended up happening. But instead, I decided to move. I moved my TP here, first of all, which, wouldn't have been bad. Oh well, it's around 70 points. I'll take it. But we ended up getting to around here on this candle. And I ended up just closing it out early for like 61, 62 points. Which, it's good profits. I can't be mad about the trade per se, but I am mad at myself for doing that. I'm mad at myself for not trusting the setup, which would have worked out very, very well. And I just need to try and control my desire to close out a position early or prematurely. I should not have closed out that position. Not to mention, I should not have taken even more trades after I did this. I think from now on, during a trading day, and this could be a good rule for you as well, I think that whenever I make a mistake such as this, even if it results in a win, if it results in a loss, I just need to stop trading. Because when I make that first mistake, I am more likely to continue on with emotional trading. Any other setup I took today, even though they were good setups and they did end up working out, I got stopped out as liquidity or whatever. They were good setups. I should not have taken them in the first place, though. They were, in essence, emotional trades. And I really should not have taken them. But, it's a lesson learned for me. Hope it's a lesson learned for you. Should be it for this trade recap. I hope you made money today if you ended up trading it. If you're learning, I plan on posting a video explaining how to actually spot liquidity zones in the market, which I actually haven't really used much this week, but it is still a very good lesson to be learned. I mean, it relates to how I end up choosing which points or which areas in the price to target. Like why I would have originally targeted this 90 points, why I may have moved my TP here. Definitely not why I may have closed this out early, but I'll also cover one of the main parts of my strategy is supply zones. This right here that I entered the first trade off of, I'll cover that. I'll cover my strategy for spotting good imbalances, but in future videos. But other than that, that's it for me on this trade recap. So have a great day.